your children are at that point. He was like 11 or 12, and an 11 and a 12-year-old, they just do not have the mental capacity or the communication skills to deal with a 50-year-old woman who has been teaching, who should never speak to a child that way. So moving on. Why is my third grader getting D's and F's in your class? I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I don't know if the kids are going to be okay. Am I going to mess them up? Am I going to do something wrong? And okay, great, love that. So I'm sitting there, what for feels like eternity, and my kid comes back, and we get in the car. He's got all of his things, and he looks at me and he's like, Mom, what did she mean when she said, Good morning, I'm Nicole Danielle. I'm a homeschool mama to 3 boys. I've got one in college. I have an 11th grader and a 6th grade boy. Um, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am so glad that you have found this space, and if you're not, welcome back. I am so excited to see you again. I consider you guys all friends, and we are going to be talking about day one and before day one. I had in my Facebook time hop, if you will, a picture post. It came up that we have been homeschooling for 8 years. I know I posted it. I hope you guys saw it. My sweet little boys. They were in 6th grade and 3rd grade at the time. And that was the very first day that we had homeschooled the kids. So I really wanted to go back and look back, and I realized that not everybody here has been homeschooling for 8 years. Not everybody here has high schoolers. You guys are just starting out, and you're in all walks of life. You are homeschooling, you're thinking about homeschooling, you're like, what am I doing? All of the questions. And so I just wanted to go back to where I was, to that about a month before that, or 2 months before that. So grab some coffee. I've got my coffee. It is morning. It is January. And I figured January was the perfect time to do it because it was January when I was making all these crazy decisions to homeschool my kids. It is beautiful outside. It is clear. The skies are blue. It is crisp and cold. So grab yourself some coffee or some tea or some water, whatever you're doing, and let's sit and chat. So, 8 years ago, story time. 8 years ago, August starts, and the boys are excited to start school, and they are going to a really good school in a really nice town. They are known for amazing test scores and great teachers, and everybody is moving to this town so that they can take their kids to this school. And it was fine until it wasn't fine. And so they go. My oldest is starting middle school, 6th grade. They move up to middle school. He meets his teachers. He signs up for band. He's doing great. He's excited to start the school year. My little one is in 3rd grade. We go, we meet his teacher, he sees his classroom, we buy his school supplies, we get his cute little clothes, and he's also semi-excited to start the new year. So my my boys are drastically different when it comes to school. I've got my older one is your typical first child, people pleaser, helper, problem solver, peacekeeper, and he just wants to do what he's supposed to do, and he wants to do it well. And so that was his attitude and outlook going into this new middle school, full of adventure and full of promise. And my current my sorry my middle child never really loved school. He did okay. Um, he would rather have been home with me, but yeah, nothing was quite as dramatic as third grade for him specifically. So backing it up, months before that, I had always kind of wanted to homeschool my kids. I had talked about it before they started school. When you first have kids, you start talking about like how are we going to educate them, and I had brought up homeschooling to my husband, and he was very anti-homeschool. He was very much like, I'm not going to have a bunch of weird kids. I don't want them to be antisocial. I don't want that for you. That might drive you crazy, all the things. And then me, of course, trying to psych myself out. I was like, okay, well, they're gonna, I'm not gonna have any time for myself, and I don't have the patience for that. And I'm certain that some of this resonates with you guys because I hear it all the time. Like, I don't have the patience. I don't want my children around 24/7. They're never gonna learn from me. I'm not smart enough. And you just kind of internalize all these things. Um, so it's August, my kids are, going, and then it goes bad very quickly for them. Third grade, sixth grade, it goes bad very quickly for them. Very quickly, let's talk about my sixth grader. He's in band, he's excelling, he's doing great. That's his favorite class. His grades are mostly okay, except for his science grade. And which is super weird because science is supposed to be, an easy grade. Coffee. Science should be the one that's like a no-brainer, especially for him. If you're doing well in math, you're doing well in English, you're doing well in all these other subjects, it should be great. It wasn't. It wasn't. His grades started kind of drifting down for science. He came home. He was upset randomly. We had back to school meetings. We met the science teacher. She was very they were starting a new project. That's a big thing for us in this story. This school specifically was starting this brand new keystone capstone project. It's been 8 years ago, so please forgive me if I'm wrong. They've never done it before. They have no idea what they're doing. They just know that they're going to do it. The teachers are very uninformed. Um, Very confused. You can tell that it was something that was brand new. They had probably just learned about it days before in teacher in service meetings, and during these meetings, all of these parents had all of these questions. Like we had already heard it about it. We had read the handouts. We were very confused. The parent, like 60 people in this one teacher's room, very confused. The principal even walked into this science teacher's room, and she was trying to answer some of the questions, and she couldn't answer the questions very well. It was it was very much like oh, well, we will look into that. Oh, we will send you more information home. Oh, we don't know yet what that's going to look like. Those were the answers that we were receiving. Okay? Um, so So my child starts coming home upset. And he is not usually like that. And more often, closer and closer together, he's upset or he's crying. And what was it from? It was from this science teacher specifically. The teacher yelled at them. The teacher did this. The teacher did that. The teacher stood in front of the entire classroom and ripped up a child's project because the child was supposed to do it in the classroom, and he decided to finish it at home the night before. So it got ripped up, and so many other things. Turns out we were dealing with a bully. She had an affinity for the girls over the boys. So we were dealing with some racism, some sexism, some bullying, and he just happened to be the minority of her favorite group. And so all the whole time, September, October, November, December, we're dealing with my baby in tears. Did I try to talk to anybody? I didn't. Honestly, I didn't. We did not go and talk to anybody. We just try to pep my child up. This is, she doesn't mean that, benefit of the doubt for the teacher. I'm so sorry that it happened. I'm so sorry that you're upset. This is how you can handle certain situations. You should probably talk to her. I'm sorry, I will never do that again, and I don't recommend you doing that. Either your children are, at that point, he was like 11 or 12, and an 11 and a 12-year-old, they just do not have the mental capacity or the communication skills to deal with a 50-year-old woman who has been teaching, who should never speak to a child that way. So, moving on. That's the middle school. Third grader. So, we are the first week or two of school was okay for him, and then it got pretty bad pretty quick. Car line was an absolute disaster. Every morning they would have to drag my baby out of my car. He was so upset. He did not want to go to school. He did not want anything to do with it. And you know how they try to push you through car line, like get out, get out, get out. We're good, we're good, we're good. Go, 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 go. And they physically had to remove my child more often than not. So bad. Um, and then somewhere around October, his grades start plummeting. And I'm like, I don't understand. Why does my third grader have an F? Why is my third grader getting D's and F's in your class for like geography or the weirdest subjects? All of his grades started plummeting October-ish. So we had a parent teacher meeting. What's going on with our kid? Well, turns out we were supposed to be teaching subjects at home that she would send home. She would send it home in his folder, and we were supposed to teach it to him. And we were like, I don't understand like that. I mean, we looked at it, right? Like we would look at the material. Hey, Caleb, do you know what this is? Sometimes we wouldn't look at it because that's not my job, right? As a you are teaching my child. You have him for 8 hours, and you cannot teach the material required, and you're going to give him a test. That's why he was failing, because I wasn't getting my kid home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and educating him. That wasn't my job. Um, and so in like November, December timeframe, the teacher took a leave of absence and he got a new teacher in, and my kid started thriving. His grades popped back up. He was doing amazing. Nobody was pulling my baby out of the car. He was so excited. He came home happy. He got himself up and got dressed for school, and he was just like ready to go, right? Um, and he loved this new teacher. He was thriving underneath this new teacher. And then we learned in December over break that his regular teacher was going to come back. Turns out his regular teacher had a very high risk multiple pregnancy of multiples. We had no idea what was going on. We just knew that we were frustrated with the way she was teaching and that my child hated her classroom. That's all we knew as parents. We did not learn until December, until that winter break, that Christmas break that we were on, that was what was happening. She was very high risk, and that's why she was out. Well, we told our child, this is December, so it's a 3-week break, a 2-week break, something like that. We told our child that his teacher was going to come back, and he was devastated, and he was moody, and he was depressed. And this is a third grader, you guys. And so we went to friends. We're like, okay, I don't know what to do. I had always wanted to homeschool. That was always on the back of my mind. So we went and we talked to a amazing couple about homeschooling and how that looked and what it worked like, and all these things. And my husband got to answer all of these or ask all of these questions and get all of these answers and meet these incredible children. They are literally the best humans that we've like ever met. This couple's children had the most respectful, most well-mannered, most communicative kids that we had met up until that point. And so it's December, we do Christmas, we are still communicating about what we're going to do. Are we going to send our kids back? I don't want to. They're both being bullied. They're both miserable. They're both crying. If I have to educate them already anyway, at the end of the day, why not we just pull them out? What are we going? I had surgery also at that exact same time. Um, and it was wild. Um, and so I'm like emotional and I'm in pain and I'm trying to recover from this surgery. and we're trying to figure out if we're taking our kids back to school or not. It's January 4th, and and school starts back, and we still haven't made a decision. I just know that I didn't take my kids to school that day. It's January 5th, and we're like, we should probably make a choice here. And January 6th rolls around, and it's like, okay, what are we gonna do with all of this? Like, we have to make a choice, okay? So my husband's like, if you think you're up to it, let's just homeschool them. It's January 6th, y'all. They were supposed to be in school 2 days ago. And so I'm like, okay, fine. I had done a little bit of research about cover schools, and I had asked her all those questions and stuff like that. She recommended a couple, and so I was like, what are we gonna do, right? Um, so I went ahead and I don't even think I had talked to the cover school yet. I don't think I had registered them or anything like that. I don't remember exactly the steps that I went in, but I do remember this very vividly because it was very heartbreaking. January 6th, they have been absent for 2 days, and um, I walk into the office with my children, and at their prospective school, right? And I say, I need to fill out an intent to homeschool form for my child, and I would like my child to go to um, his classroom and get his supplies and all of his things, or, my older one, his locker and get his things. Devastation. These people in the offices that were the sweetest people in the entire world were like utterly just unkind. Their countenance changed. They were like annoyed and angry and like salty and just like looking down on you like this nasty face. And I was like, can I go with my baby, my third grader, to go get his supplies? No, he has to go on his own. Okay, great. Love that for us. So I have to sit in the office and wait for my, what, 8-year-old to go by himself to this mean teacher, and mean to him. She wasn't mean, but like he had to walk through the halls all by himself to go get his stuff. I'm like, what? Like, I don't. Okay, that awful, right? And then I had to do it all over again. Luckily, nobody said any mean things to him, or he internalized it and never said anything to me about it. Um, so then it's my sixth grader's turn, and we go into the office. Same thing. I need to fill out an intent to homeschool form, and he needs to get his things out of his locker. He needs to turn some things in to teachers and stuff like that, like books and stuff. And I had to let him go all by himself. I couldn't help him go clean out his locker. I was like, and how is he supposed to carry all these things back with him? And she's like, well, he'll have to figure it out. He can make trips. And I was like, okay, great, love that. So I'm sitting there, what for feels like eternity, and my kid comes back, and we get in the car. He's got all of his things, and he looks at me and he's like, Mom, what did she mean when she said, oh, I'm so sorry? And he's like got a little tear in his face. And he was so excited to homeschool. And then he goes and he sees his homeroom teacher, which is his favorite teacher, the sweetest woman in the entire world. And he tells her what's going on, and he's so excited. He's like, I'm going to homeschool. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. And she walked away from my kid, and he was devastated. And it was just an awful experience. So I have these kids. We go and we celebrate and we get ice cream or something. Who knows what I did? I did something fun for them, grabbed them breakfast or something from one of their favorite places. I don't remember, but I remember purchasing something for them that morning. And we go and we do nothing that day. Like that was our day, right? And then I'm like, okay, what am I actually going to use? Like, what? I'm not kidding, you guys. This was my timeline. I've pulled my children out because I'm frustrated with the system. They have horrible goodbyes from their school. I had a horrible experience in the office being like shunned and being made to feel like we were doing this worst possible thing that we possibly could do for our children's education. And then it was like, okay, what are we doing now? And and then I was like, Monarch, right? Oh, after a tiny bit of researching, I researched like online homeschooling because this is January. We only have one semester left of their grades. I don't want to buy a full curriculum. That just seems astronomically ridiculous, especially with the money. So we turned to Monarch. Online. I'll link it below. If this is you, if you're hearing anything or whatever, just like do something easy. Um, People say unschool for a while, read books, do like decompress. I wish I had done that. I wish I had taken a month to like decompress my children from like mainstream public school situation, but we didn't. We jumped right into it the next day. And it we literally turned the program on and they did their schoolwork and we were done in a couple of hours and they were ready to play and they had the best day ever. My kids loved it. They were so excited to be able to do school in their pajamas, be done in the morning time, and just be able to play for the rest of the day. And those are our first days of homeschooling. It was chaos, trying to figure it all out. It was nerve-wracking. It was like this, like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. I don't know if the kids are going to be okay. Am I going to mess them up? Am I going to do something wrong? And I would like to say, like, my husband and I both came out of the public school setting, and graduating from the public school setting, if that's the way they leave you feeling, right? You graduate and you feel like you're never going to be able to educate your own children, like you're not good enough to do that. That's a problem. They're not trying to make you feel like you can do whatever you want to do. Like that stops in kindergarten. You can be whoever you want to be, right? Like I left that thinking that I was not good enough or smart enough or patient enough or intelligent enough or kind enough to educate my own children. But turns out here we are, 8 years later. Um, this is my third time going through sixth grade, and all three times have looked drastically different. And I've got some thriving kids. Like on the backside of it, that sweet little sixth grader who was compassionate and kind and just wanted to conquer the world is now in college in his freshman year of college, and he's thriving and he's majoring in worship arts and he's got this amazing peer group that just pushes him more towards Christ every single day. He's plugged in, he's plugged into church, he does all of the things backstage for the dramas, and he's an amazing human being. And I had a hand in that, and I got to watch him grow and thrive and pursue God, and there's no telling where he would have ended up had I kept him. I love to see where he's at now. And then my 11th grader, currently, my baby, my third grade baby who I pulled out of the school system, like he's got a great head on his shoulder, and he's doing well, like he still doesn't like school. Like he's never like found this amazing joy for learning or anything like that, but he's good at what he does. And he's a perfectionist and he's too hard on himself, but he's really intelligent and he's dual enrolling. He's in the welding program. He's thriving. He's going to graduate his senior year, being done with that welding program and being ready to enter the workforce and just go and conquer the world. And he's plugged into church. He's got this great friend group and he's leaning in on so many great opportunities. He's financially intelligent and logically intelligent. Like, there's so many fascinating things about his brain, and seeing the world for what it truly is. I just don't know if he would have gotten there had he been swept up in all the drama and the school nonsense and the do what I say, repeat after me, learn this way. There's no telling what this kid would have done with his life. He's coming out of our homeschool situation with A's and B's, and I pulled him out with like D's and F's as a third grader. So, no, he doesn't love learning, but he's good at it. And he knows that he can take it at his own pace and do what he wants and how he wants, and we can adjust it and tweak it and just conquer the world. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that I gave you a little bit of encouragement. I want to leave you with this. Even though you're afraid, God gave you those children. They are yours. You know them better. You love them better than anybody on this planet. And you can educate your children. You really can. They are yours to shepherd and to disciple and to grow and to mature. And God gave them to you for a purpose. And you are the best mom for that child. You are the best dad for that child. You are the best caregiver for that child. And if you want to home educate, if there's just an inkling on your heart, I do believe that that desire is God-given, to bring them home, to protect them, to shepherd them, and to adjust their home education, their education to them specifically, because God has mighty plans for your children, and He wants them to thrive in this big, scary world. And yeah, you can do it. That's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed my look back 8 years ago. I can't believe it's been 8 years since I've been home educating my children. It's been a massive blessing. All three of their educations have looked so different, and I'm so glad that you're here. Stick around. Click the like button, the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And I'm ready to share some more things with you in this 2024 year. Abba willing, I will see you next time. Bye for now.